Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about RIE, spelled RIE. It stands for Resources for Infant Educators. When I first found out about RIE a couple days ago, I was thrilled. I thought I had finally found the education, philosophy, pedagogy that was right for me because it encourages open-ended play like Montessori or Reggio Emilia, but it has a lot of that good stuff that like Waldorf or Reggio Emilia, but it has a lot of that good stuff that you find in Montessori about respectful parenting. So I was like, this is the perfect combination, and it was only for the first 3 years of the child's life is its focus. But I was okay with that because, after that, I'll do unschooling and other philosophies. But I wanted something for those first 3 years, which is really my personal focus, is on those first 3 years. And because I'm an early childhood educator. And I actually looked in to becoming a RIE associate and was going to pay thousands of dollars to become a RIE associate. Like, I was serious about this. But then I was like, okay, before I pay any money to take the courses, I want to find out more information for free and just make sure that this is something I really like. And when I started reading the book by Magda Gerber, I was disappointed to find out that RIE believes in sleep training, sort of. It's very confusing because they say, like, I can't tell if they really believe in crying it out or not, because they say, like, a child's crying is, like, an infant's crying is their only way of communicating with you, and you should try to figure out. Ignore my messy house in the background. Sorry. I normally try to keep it out of frame, but stuff happens. Anyways, they say that you should try to respond and be responsive to the child's crying and figure out what the source is and why they're crying. Are they hungry? Do they need a diaper change? That kind of stuff. But then for sleep, they turn around and say, oh, the child needs to learn how to self-soothe. And I don't believe in that, because I personally believe that the child is too young to self-soothe, that that's not developmentally appropriate, that they don't know how, and that they need to be taught through the mother soothing them. Now, one thing that I did find really interesting about the RIE approach is they kind of challenged this idea of soothing your baby and said, when you're soothing your baby, you're distracting your baby from being able to just express how they feel, and you're shutting up their crying with a soother, a pacifier, whatever you want to call it, with rocking, with shushing, with patting them on the back, walking them around. You're distracting them, you're overstimulating them. And that actually challenged me, and I actually think I might agree with that. The idea that you do need to let a baby cry and let them express themselves. But I would say at the very least you should pick a baby up that's crying, and because babies like to be held. And RIE is kind of like, oh, you should wait to pick it up. And that's the part that I don't really like. And like the idea that they will learn how to self-soothe, I don't like. I think they need to learn how to be soothed with, like, RIE does support lullabies or reading them a poem before bed. So those are ways that you can soothe your baby. That's not shutting them up. And I think that that's important at sleep, to soothe in those sorts of ways. But But there's a lot of good stuff that I really like about rye, and a lot of stuff that really intrigued me that I had never heard before. Like, they don't believe in tummy time, because, which is weird because like so many doctors suggest it. But they were saying that like the Montessori approach and approaches like it are too like forcing the baby to reach the next milestone as quickly as possible, like encouraging the baby to play with toys that will grow the baby, instead of letting the baby grow and discover and develop on their own time. And they're saying it's plenty of time when the baby learns how to roll over for them to start building their strength. And I actually kind of like that, to be honest. I know that people are going to think I'm crazy. I like everything about rye, to be honest with you, except for this idea that they will learn how to self-soothe themselves and that we need to sleep train them. That's the only part that I'm like, But the other stuff I found really interesting and really like thought-provoking. I definitely think you should research rye more. I'm doing a horrible job explaining it, but these are just my unprofessional videos. I'm not a real YouTuber. But yeah, that's rye, and it's very interesting.